Hi everybody, welcome back to the Kuntry Klucker. My name is Noelle. I am the owner, editor, creator of the Kuntry Klucker blog. And today, it's actually a warm day. So the girls and I are out and we are going to talk about roosters. I have had several emails from my readers, and I want to thank them very much for reaching out. It kind of gives me an idea of what people are needing and what kind of topics we need to discuss so I can help you guys. But before I do that, I'm going to give the girls some scratch. Okay, come on, ladies. So it's a tradition that when I come out here, I've got to get the girls a treat. So this is our scratch bag. And I need to go to Tractor Supply, girls. We're almost out. Oh no. That constitutes an emergency, doesn't it? Okay, come on. Come on. So I'm going to go over here and sit down underneath my grape arbor and give the girls some scratch. And we're going to discuss some topics that you guys have been contacting me about. So that way I can be of help and hopefully your flocks can be happier. You guys ready? Are you ready? Woo! Okay. That'll keep them busy for a bit. So, for those that have just stumbled across my blog, if you're searching for, or my YouTube channel, if you're searching for roosters, hi, my name is Noelle. I'm a backyard chicken keeper, and I have been doing this for 11 years. No, I'm sorry, 12 years. Yeah, I just switched a year there. Okay, so roosters. So a lot of the correspondences that I'm getting from my followers and from my readers is in the subject of roosters, specifically how to have or how to manage multiple roosters in a flock. And as you can see here, I have a mixed flock and I have multiple roosters in my flock. Let's see, so here's Enigma, he's a mottled Cochin. Link here, silver-laced Polish. Smog back there, everybody knows Smog. He's big, he's a silver-laced Wyandotte. He's 12 pounds, but he's an absolute gentleman. And then over here, we have Mr. Sec. And over there, a white Polish, not Polish, but a silky, and his name is Supreme. So right here in front of me, I have 7 roosters. And as you can see, they're very civil with each other. They get along with each other. As long as nobody gets in someone else's face, you know, it's pretty much, hi, do I need to get more scratch? It's pretty much an organized and peaceful encounter. So the key to keeping multiple roosters, there are several keys. One is space. The first thing roosters are going to need is ample space. So, roosters by nature are territorial. So if there's not enough space, one thing that they're going to do is they are going to fight. They are going to fight for that space. So when you have roosters that are in too close of quarters and they're starting to challenge each other for space and compete for space, they don't have a way to get away from each other. And roosters need a way to get away from each other. Otherwise, what's going to happen is injuries are going to be resulted. So when roosters are sparring for space or hens or some sort of resource, if they can't separate from each other, there will be injuries. And that is usually how injuries are incurred, is you have several roosters and you're not giving them ample space in order to spread out and create their own territory. So in the backyard, my backyard is fairly large, it's fenced in. My roosters will actually divide the yard into jurisdictions. So every rooster will know where the boundary line is, and they're going to do their best not to cross it. But if you don't have enough space for the roosters to actually draw out boundaries, in the yard in order to have a peaceful coexistence, you're going to have some issues. So one of the first things that you're going to need is space. So this is not only in the free ranging yard, but it's going to be in the pen and also in the coop. And so as long as you can give the roosters enough space, that's going to be number one. The second thing that they're going to need is they're going to need ample resources. It is a rooster's job to basically take care of the hens. So oftentimes we associate roosters with basically one job, and that is simply propagation of the flock. While that is in his job description, that is not the only way that he is going to assist his hens. So while they're out free ranging in the backyard and the rooster feels that the hens need to eat, or they need to go get a drink of water or something, what he's going to do is he's going to lead them to resources. So resources, as far as a rooster is concerned, it's going to be that of food and water. So if you're going to have multiple roosters, you're going to need multiple feeder, or not feeder, but feeding and watering stations. So for example, let me give you an example of what I've got here. Hi, Smog. I have several coops, and within each coop there's 1 or 2 roosters per coop, and within each coop they're going to have their own food and their own water. So let's go over here real quick. Let's go over here to this is the silky coop. So in here, so this is the silkies. So in here, hi sweetheart, they have their own feed and they have their own water station. So the roosters, which is Sec and Supreme, pretty much the leader of the silky flock. So when they feel that their chickens need some water and need some feed, they're going to lead them to their coop in order to partake of whatever they feel is needed. I hear you. Same with over here. So here's the Kuntry Klucker. This is my largest coop. And in here, I also have a large trindle feeder. And of course, a waterer. Oh, yay! Thank you, ladies, for the eggs. And so the girls in here are the Smog. I'm trying to talk here. And so in here is food. And so Smog, which like he's just demonstrating right now, will, sorry, excuse him, will lead his girls to feed and water in here if he feels that they need some refreshments. And I do have 4 roosters that will bunk in the clucker. You see Smog there. You can still hear Smog. So Smog, Enigma, Link also lives in the coop, and I have one more, Lestat. Where is Lestat? Lestat. Oh, he's over here. He's a white crested Polish over. He's over here. So I have 4 roosters in here. So when their girls need to eat or drink, the rooster would lead them to their coop to partake of nourishment. And then over here is the white crested Polish coop. So these are the white crested Polishes here. And over here, their rooster, which is Darunia. I don't know where he is right now. He will bring his girls over here to partake of nourishment. So by having their own coop, and inside of each of those coops are sustenance that they need, that is going to limit a lot of the fighting that the roosters would have. So the key, and this is going to sound weird, but the key to keeping multiple roosters in the flock is to give them as little as possible to fight over. So if they have ample space, if they have ample room to get away from each other, to spread out, to spread their wings, to create jurisdictions within the free ranging yard, and they have ample resources of food and water, that is going to reduce a lot of the friction that you will often see when you have multiple roosters. And then during the summer, another thing that I will do is you see these red shepherd hooks with chains hanging from them. During the summer when it's hot, I will hang waterers on these. So not only will they have water in each of their coops, but I will have 2 or 3 watering stations throughout my backyard during the summer, simply because my backyard is so large and I don't want to cause the hens and the roosters to have to go very far from where they are if they're absolutely needing water, because a chicken can dehydrate very quickly. So I'll have 3 watering stations in the backyard in addition to what's into the coop. So this is one of them, these red shepherd hooks. And then I've got another one. I got another one over here. And I will also hang one right here from my grape arbor. So here's a chain right here that I will also hang a waterer on during the summer. So that way my chickens can very readily and very easily find water. And I do that during the hotter months, because when they're out free ranging, it is large and their free ranging area, and just having watering stations, you know, kind of like when you're out in the park and you just kind of appreciate a water fountain being around, that kind of idea. All right, let's go get the one more, and then that's going to be it, girls, for the scratch today. You girls ready? Are we ready? Is everybody here? You ready, Smog? Are we ready? All right. Another thing that your roosters will need, Smog, it's over there. I'm not giving you any more. So right here is Smog and Enigma. So Enigma is a mottled coach in here. He's a rooster. And over there is Smog. They bunk together in the Kuntry Klucker. So they get along fairly well. Enigma's wanting just a little bit. Come here, Enigma. There you go. You need to make sure no one's in the shed. Nope, everybody's out here. Okay. And another thing that you're going to need in order to maintain multiple roosters in your flock are ample hens. So I have about, let's see, I've got 13 roosters. On any day, I have about 7 in the yard with the girls. My other roosters are in bachelor pens, because I use them for breeding. So they're my breeding boys and they're in bachelor pens. So on any given day, free ranging, there will be 7 roosters in the yard. And I have, last time I counted, I had about 60 hens. Now chicken math is set in, so I may have a few more. I've lost a couple and I've gained a couple. So I'm gonna average it around about 60. So for one rooster, you're gonna want anywhere minimum of 6 hens, anywhere from 6 to 8 or 7 to 10, somewhere in there per rooster. And so, because you got to keep in mind, my bantam roosters, they have maybe 6 hens per rooster, but they're also smaller. The larger roosters, like Smog here, he's a silver lace Wyandotte. He has maybe 10 hens. And then Enigma has, I think, 4 or 5 that really like Enigma. And let's see, Link has about 4. So, and one thing you'll also notice is the hens will also decide which rooster they are going to be more attracted to. So it's not only just the roosters that make these decisions, but the hens have a say too. Hi, Fi. She's a silver lace Polish here. She's wandering by. And this is Link over here. So the hens will also have a say in which hens that the roosters will have. And so there's going to be some hens that will be attracted to one rooster. And then there's going to be a rooster that will be attracted to some hens. And so it's all in the flock dynamics. And they will, of course, work that out. There's not really anything you really have to do. The hens and the roosters will take it upon themselves to divide up into teams, and everybody knows who's on which rooster team. But if you have plenty of hens, for each rooster to have his set number, which he takes care of and oversees, that is going to be by and far the biggest factor that will cause roosters to fight. Is they're going to fight not over space and resources, but for and foremost, they're going to fight over hens. So if they have enough hens, or if you have enough hens for them to have, you know, a handful for them to look over and take care of, that by and large is going to restrict or remove any factors that would cause the roosters to fight. Now, I do have 7 roosters out in the yard right now, and even though everybody does get along fairly well, every now and again there will be a skirmish. Typically I get skirmishes in the spring when, you know, everybody is just, you know, got chicks on the brain. So that's usually when I will notice fighting, but it's usually very brief and there's no injuries that result typically from the skirmishes. It usually happens when one rooster gets a little too close to another rooster's hen or something like that, and they think that they're going to siphon off a couple hens. That's usually what causes the fighting, but then again, like I said, it's very brief and there's usually no injuries that result from that, because typically the roosters, you know, break up real quick. They can get away from each other. So that's about the only time that I actually witness any kind of altercations among my boys, and that's about it. So keeping multiple roosters, contrary to popular opinion, is possible, but there are keys that you have to make sure, and stipulations that you have to make sure are met for that to be done successfully. So if any one of those factors are askew, or any one of those factors are not to the specifications that are required to keep multiple roosters, there will be fighting. So if you have one feeder and one water for your whole flock, the boys are going to fight over that, because they're going to want to basically proclaim themselves king of the feeder and water, and they're going to keep the other roosters and the other hens away. Same if you have not enough space or not enough hens, the roosters are going to fight over those resources. And in addition to having multiple roosters, something else that you're going to want for your hen is you're going to want a surplus of nesting boxes. So each of my coops have nesting boxes, and I do get questions about, you know, do the hens sometimes go into different coops to lay eggs? Yes. So in the silky coop, it's not uncommon for me to find a Wyandotte egg in there, which is, you know, 2 or 3 times the size of a silky egg. So the hens, when it comes to laying eggs, they're pretty much going to go towards the first nesting box that they come across. So if they're having like an egg emergency, like they're going to lay an egg right now, they're not going to run to their coop, to their nesting box. They're basically going to drop by at the first nesting box they run across. So especially given my yard being so large, I do find that the hens will pretty much lay their egg in whichever coop they please. The roosters, on the other hand, they will not go into coops that are not theirs. So it is rooster protocol, a gentleman's agreement of sorts, that the rooster does not go into a coop that is not theirs. So if Smog would go into the silky coop per se, and there's a silky rooster in there, that would cause an altercation. Or if one of the other roosters that do not roost, now I have 4 roosters that roost in the clucker, but if I had another rooster that did not roost in that clucker that went into that coop, then yes, Smog would chase him out, or Link or whoever is in there would definitely chase him out. So the hens will go into whatever coop they please. The hens don't really seem to care. The roosters, on the other hand, they will only go into coops that are theirs for roosting. And so that's also another part of the territorial aspects of roosters, is they're going to be very protective of their coop, because inside their coop is where their hens are and also where their resources are. So if any rooster who does not roost in that coop tries to partake of their feeder and water, there's going to be just a little bit of an altercation. So that is true. So it's kind of a gentleman's agreement that the boys have just kind of come to agreement upon. So a lot of what transpires in a chicken flock with multiple roosters is much of the decisions are actually made by the roosters themselves. So, for example, the Kuntry Klucker, I have 4 roosters that roost in there. The boys decided amongst themselves that these 4 roosters, they were not threatened by, that they got along very well with. And so those 4 boys roosting in the Kuntry Klucker at night, they don't fight. But it is a decision that the roosters decided amongst themselves. Now, had I forced these roosters to live together, that might have caused a little bit of a problem, because the roosters didn't have much a say in that decision. But when they decide that they've got a buddy, you know, that they like, that they get along with, they're very amiable as far as allowing certain roosters and their hens to bunk together. So that's why I have 4 roosters. I have Link, Lestat, Smog, and Enigma that will roost in the Kuntry Klucker at night. So the roosters plus their hens. But again, the roosters came to this decision. And so in the Silky Coop, I have Sec and I have Supreme. They decided amongst themselves that they get along fairly well, and so they bunk together in that coop. So a lot of the flock dynamics of roosters are decided by the roosters. And when you let the roosters decide amongst themselves what's going to work and what's not going to work, keeping multiple roosters is generally a very positive experience for both the keeper and for the roosters. So, I think I have covered everything as far as my experience and knowledge on having several roosters cohabitate together. Again, if I've left anything out and you have any additional questions that I didn't address, feel free to catch me in the comments. You can also email me at kuntryclucker@gmail.com, and I will link that, or I'll provide my email address in the description for you in case you have any questions that I didn't cover. So, again, my name is Noelle. I'm a backyard chicken keeper. I'm a professional writer, published author, and I have been doing this for 12 years. So if you've just come across my YouTube channel, I want to say hi. It's nice to meet you. For those that have been here for a while, I want to say thank you very much for your continued support. It is your support that allows me to make videos that will then help you. So I think I have covered everything, but like I said, if I forgot something, you guys can always reach out and contact me, and I'll do what I can, my best, to answer your question. So it's getting kind of windy out here, and it's really starting to pick up, and it's really starting to affect my audio. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off. And I guess from the Kuntry Klucker, we'll catch you later. Bye.